Okay.
I just, good to be sitting here on game week. It always, it's a long time coming. When it gets here, it rolls pretty quick. So we've come out of fall camp and, along all season and feel really good about where our team's at. And, they're always excited about getting into game week. And you kind of felt that at practice yesterday. A really, business-like practice yesterday. Is everybody doing their job and getting prepared and just ready to play somebody else. And you're always anxious to play that first one, and everybody's the smell of, I think, college football kind of gets in the air after 4th of July, and everybody kind of anticipates the start of it. And we're excited about that. And you got to play that first and kind of see where you are, and you're going to go out there and you're going to do some things really well, and you're probably going to make some mistakes, and hopefully not too many of them. But there'll be things from this game that we can learn from, and our thing is, effort's not going to be one of them. We just want to play with tremendous effort and just do the things that we do that we know makes us successful. And we got to, coming out pretty healthy out of fall camp and, opening up on the road, something a little different for us, a long road trip. We used to play in the last 2 years in Montgomery right down the road, more like a home game opener, nationally televised on Saturday, so we're in classes. So, playing during the week on the road, we've not done since I've been here. So it presents some, academic, things that we got to get worked out with classes, and it is a long bus ride, so you're not going to get back into, early, Friday morning. So, we're just looking forward to it. Night game atmosphere ought to be great. It's a home opener for them. I'm sure they're building that up, and they've got a good program. They've been down the last few years, changed coaches last year, and I think Coach Selfo has done a tremendous job. You look back at their tape from last year. He's got two really good coordinators. The offense coordinator we've played against a lot. He was EIU for years and kind of know him. He's one of the best play callers we've played against. So and they got some weapons offensively. They got a transfer quarterback that started every game last year, made plays. They brought in two other transfer guys, haven't been able to beat him out. One from Arkansas, one from South Carolina, and he's kept the job. So he's an accurate guy, can throw the football, runs it well. He really directs our offense really, really good. And they got some weapons. They got good running backs. They play multiple guys there, and, they got receivers. So they got skilled guys. And, number 5, you got to know where he's at. He returns kicks. You got to know where he's at on the field offensively. He's got a lot of speed and does a lot when he gets the ball in his hands. So, and then I think, another strength for them offensively will be 4 out of 5 starters back up front offensive line-wise. So, that will be a big-time thing. They got a lot of returning guys offensively. They got a good tight end. So, they got some weapons there for Coach Stevenson to use, and he does a good job of doing that. And then defensively, they got to change. They got a guy that, has been at McNeese for a long time, knows how to play good defense. I'm sure they'll get better. They'll play with a lot of energy and a lot of effort, and they'll tackle well. And I think he'll improve their defense a lot. So personnel-wise, they're good there as well. So, it's got a complete team. You're talking about a team that went about 500 last year in Southland, which is always strong. And second year with this staff being there, I look for a lot of improvement. So, we're just excited about seeing where the Gamecocks are. I think we've got, more of a veteran crew coming back this year than we did this time last year. We've got a lot of question marks that were answered, but we still got a lot of question marks out there, and we got some guys that haven't been in a game, just going to play in a game, and they're only going to get better. But like I said, just feel good about where our team is, and just excited about the road trip, and just getting on the road on Wednesday and getting down there and playing a night game on Thursday.
Questions? Coach Cross, Bryant Wallace, he's listed on Josh's release as the kicker. Has he won the job?
You got a quarter? That's just as transparent as I can be, right? Okay, so yeah, we had a very bad weekend kicking the football with everybody. He has won the job, lost the job, maybe won it back, So it's one of those things that may be my game time type decision. So yesterday was hoping to come out of yesterday with a kicker, and I'd be danged if all of them didn't do really good. So so it's one of those things where Brian he's done well. He's had a good good fall camp. I think he got a little hurt. His plant foot slipped and it hurt his knee a little bit, and that's kind of set him back, and he's coming back out of that. And, Parker Holland's in the race. We even put our punter Pierce back in the race. So we got 3 guys right now that, if they kick it the way they did yesterday, I feel very comfortable with them. Coming out of scrimmage on Saturday, you may have went for it. So, I don't, it's one of those things. So that's just being as honest as I can be, But, like I said, I think somebody's eventually going to win the job. And there's a lot, all of them can do it physically, okay? And it's, kicking is such a mental deal. And like I said, I think that, we'll come up with a guy that can get the job done. And it may be multiple guys that, does kickoff, long field goal, short field goal type deal. But like I said, the advantage is we do have 3 guys I think can put it through the uprights. And I think we're going to improve on that as the year goes. Now, Mark brings up some problems. You got 1 ball. So but it is an advantage. I think if those guys stay healthy, I think collectively they can be as good as we've had receiving core-wise, So if they stay healthy and we can disperse the ball and take care of the football, we can make plays down the field, and all those guys do a good job of running routes. And I can't tell you how far we're ahead of where we were last year at this time, because we ended the season a lot better than what we started the season, as far as where we were. But I think it goes for our trigger guys too. Coop's just got a really good understanding of our offense. Zion does as well. They're doing a good job right now in practice of getting those guys the ball, and we'll be able to spread the field and throw the football. And I think our offensive line is just really coming along. And you lost 2 guys up there, and I think those guys are getting better every day. Because some of the football goes back to protecting. You got to be able to protect, and you got to be able to run the football too. That helps you passing game. So I think it all kind of goes together. But those are, I guess, what's enjoyable about coaching those guys is just watching, a guy like Josh that we got sitting here with us, how he's progressed, and watch him through the years of what he's went through, and, had a great year last year, and what he's going to do with this year. And, a guy like Bird, who's played defensive back, who's, been a scout team guy early, moved back to offense, and he's probably, I think Josh would probably agree with this, he's probably as steady a guy as we got. He's always on the field, he always practices hard. He does a lot of good things. So you got guys like that in there, and you throw the rest of what we got to go in there with them. I think it's really good. So we got good senior leadership. You throw Jamari in there, it's been around here almost as long as I've been here, so he's been here a while. So it's so good to see him come into his own too. So those guys, I can't tell you how much they've improved. And what I'm proud of these guys that we've developed, and they've really in our program really blossomed. So it's going to be fun to watch them play and see what we can do, with the football. And
Josh, could you talk about what you've seen from not just Coop but Zion as 12 months ago? What new you've seen about them, how they've gotten better?
Zion has grown a lot. He improved better. His vision on the field, IQ has gotten a whole lot better. His arm has gotten a whole lot better. He understands he can't throw 100 miles per hour every throw now, so he's taking a little speed off the ball. But he's just improved, man. Him and Coop. We was young last year, so we really didn't know what we was doing because it was all our first time really on the field. But man, our offense, these guys, they come here every morning and watch film, so they're doing the best they can to get better. And they didn't do that last year, so it's going to take us somewhere, So I'm glad they're doing it. But.
Do you want to add something, Coop?
No. No.
For both Coop and Josh, Jalen was such a consistent force on defense last year from the first day to the last day. As offensive players, what are the things that you see that he does that you admire?
He's always around the ball. Every time I watch film on our defense or just watch the highlights that we do after the game, you always see 42. So I applaud him from always trying to make a play or just being around the ball. And some coaches, that's what you want, a player that's always around the ball. So kudos to him.
Man, Choice, man. There's so much said about Choice. Man, that guy, he always ran the ball. He got his nose on the ball. He loved to blow up the hole. He make plays, you know. He had a great season last year, and he's been working hard this offseason. So I want to see improvement from him. You know, I'd be hurt if I see him go down. You know, but I feel like he's going to exceed above and beyond this year, you know. He always on the field trying to do something. If he's back there trying to catch kickoff return, punt return, he's just on the field trying to do something. You know, so I applaud him for that as well, and glad that he's high-spirited and uplifted.
Coach Cross, could you talk about what you see from Jalen and his strengths?
He thinks he's our punt returner. And he does get back there and catch punts all the time. He'll argue with you about that. He catches it, but he does catch it pretty good. But I think it goes back kind of like what I was talking about with Josh and some of these other guys is developing, and you know, he's coming in and being a patient guy. You know, I think he'll tell you he's very, you know, immature as most freshmen are when they come in, and you know but he's bound his time. I mean, he's done a good job of, you know, getting better, being a student of the game and knowing what to do, and you know, it's improving physically and just the mental part of the game. And like I said, I just look for a lot of good things from him this year, as far as, you know, being, you know, where he's supposed to be and making those plays that we know he can make. And you know, sometimes, you know, if hold him back a little bit, he tries to do too much, you know, and like I said, just staying within the scheme of what we're doing. But, you know, I think it's last year, one of the reasons why he got so much better, his tackling skills got just a whole lot better, and he got comfortable playing in the box. You know, you took a guy who in high school played more of a nickel Sam deal, and you moved him in the box, and it's, you know, kind of hard sometimes for those guys to make, you know, that adjustment. And you know, he's done that, and you know, this is really, I think that's the reason why he had such a good year last year and is going to have a great year this year.
Jalen, what did you have to do to become comfortable in the box, like Coach Cross said?
I just feel like I had to become comfortable with the schemes. You know, schemes are very different in high school when you play outside the box. But when I learned the schemes and what we're trying to do, it made me more comfortable in the box.
How was it, you know, the last few years, it's been such a weird start, you know, having a game by week, and now not having to worry about that. Has it kind of made things a little more reassuring, I guess, heading into this year, or what?
You may want to ask me that again about Game 8. You know, I mean, hey, we don't have a break. You know, one year we played a game that had 2 off weeks, so it's just a little different not having those up front of the schedule and playing 12 games. I mean, it's a deal where I think we ought to be able to get in a groove and get to preparing and going. And you always worry about, as a coach, is that off week is such an important deal, and having them up front has not really helped us, I don't think, you know, because you don't feel like you can get going and get started. So shouldn't have that problem this year. You know, we got, I think one of the good things about the schedule is very, very competitive, you know, out of conference, these first 4, but we got to play this first one on the road, and then we come back home and play 3 in a row at home, and I think that's going to be an advantage there. Now, you know, it's we got some tough opponents. I mean, I think all those games are, you know, playoff caliber type games, you know, so, you know, we're excited about that. But, you know, the open week, you know, we'll be needing it when we get to the end, and it is at the end for sure type deal. But like I said, I think we'll be able to get in a routine a whole lot easier.
Jalen's new defensive coordinator. He was on the staff last year. Has that made the transition easier from that standpoint that you knew him?
Yeah, it's made the transition pretty easy. It's different than somebody coming that's brand new to the staff. I mean, we already knew him, so it was a good transition.
John, in terms of you've got high-profile veterans on both sides of the ball. So during the progression of practices, 1v1s, did you feel like you needed to dial it down a little bit to avoid injury, or did you have these guys take it up another notch?
You know, our philosophy, we go a lot of ones-on-ones. They LT. I'm not a big ones-on-twos guy. You know, we're always going to get game speed reps, and it only makes you better. You know, now we do keep things off the ground most of the time, but I think we got good work. And, we may have the last scrimmage and a half went a little bit more ones on twos, some, but we still, like today, we'll go out, we'll still get some ones on ones work a little bit, today. But it's, I think, like I said, you got to keep the speed of the game there. But, yeah, I think the reassuring thing to that is, and that don't mean anything how we play on Thursday, but you're a lot more comfortable than you were last year going into the game in that first game. You had so many unknowns. I mean, like I said, you go back to 17 to 19 guys. It was the first time he'd ever played in a college football game, So we were so young last year. So it was good to have these veterans back this year that's got game reps. And I think like Coop, he'll tell you, he got a lot of games in last year. So he's a better player this year than he was last year because he's got game experience. I mean, I think he's a student of the game, and he, anytime you get to evaluate yourself in a game doing things, whether that be good or bad, you learn from them. And like I said, you can learn from practice all day, but there's nothing like those game reps. They're irreplaceable. That's why the way guys get better and get better fast. So it's more of a comforting feeling to have those guys back for sure.
For Josh and Coop, is it fair to say that you two are really, really excited about game week? You seem like you're in a great mood today.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm always in a good mood, Hey, I don't believe in having bad days. It's always a good day you're around Josh Pearson. So you're going to always see my team. You're going to see me smiling, excited. I'm the life of the party. I bring joy to the room. It don't matter what day it is.
Try living with him.
Game week, it's been a long time without college football, so I am excited. Basketball and baseball, that's all right, but football is where it's at.
You talking to sleep?
No, I hope he don't. But you show his mouth every time you talking, though. It don't matter what time of day. 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, waking up, you going to hear his mouth.
Hey.
He'll be talking.
He going to be talking.